Hello friends, it's Mike Williams. I put the following presentation together to share some findings and thoughts as I observe the craziness that's going on all around us. As always, I am not attempting to convince anyone of anything. I am just sharing my ideas and perspectives. Take what resonates with you and leave what does not. Everyone needs to decide how to best navigate their life to fulfill their purpose. I am not anyone's guru, nor do I want to be. Now, as we get into the slides, it's important to note that I am not advocating any particular ideology or belief system. My approach is to present my observations based on my research in the most objective way possible. As many already know, my McCartney and Beatles research has steered me to better understand the occult, which I believe is the backbone of how our reality is managed and steered. I have suggested to my audience that they read the memoirs of Billy Shears, not just to understand the McCartney conspiracy, but to also understand how the controllers use the occult and magic to manipulate the mass consciousness to achieve their objectives. In memoirs, it is explained that there are 66 degrees within the pyramid of power. The first 33 degrees consist of the 33 degrees of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Then there are 13 degrees of the Illuminati, and at the top are 20 degrees of beings which are truly in the shadows. People and beings that will never be known to us or even to many within the pyramid. At the top of the pyramid is the all-seeing eye, or Lucifer, who is the god of this world. In memoirs, we are told we reside in the fallen world. This, of course, takes us back to Lucifer and the fallen angels. It also implies that our reality is ruled by unseen forces and beings, a premise that is far outside the thinking and understanding of most of the masses. In fact, I have found most people give no thought at all to how the world really works. Whenever I researched Lucifer and Luciferianism, it became clear that there are many interlaced variables to the equation. The occult, which includes but is not limited to the mystery religions, especially the Egyptian mysteries, the Kabbalah, Baphomet, and Aleister Crowley's religion of Thelema, all play a major role along with secret societies like the Illuminati, Freemasonry, and the many others tucked inside the pyramid. Satanism is another aspect of the controlling matrix and represents the darker elements of Luciferianism. Some believe Luciferianism and Satanism are synonymous, or one and the same. But although they share some of the same beliefs regarding physical world gain and manifestation, many Luciferians will state the terms are not interchangeable. Luciferians might argue that although they seek to optimize their physical world experience, they balance this material aspect with their commitment and focus to the non-physical or spiritual piece of the equation. Whereas Satanists, according to some Luciferians, focus too much on the physical world and not enough on the non-physical, and therefore they are out of balance. Another principle of Luciferianism is to remain constantly objective, because once objectivity is compromised, so is one's ability to think and make decisions in a rational way. Another tenet is the principle of individualism versus the collective, and both Luciferians and Satanists see nothing wrong with taking advantage of someone's ignorance in order to achieve their own personal goals. The position being that each person is responsible for being educated and informed. What the other person doesn't know or understand is not their problem. An everyday example of Luciferianism is the corporate world, where the most intrepid individuals work to outmaneuver others in order to climb the ladder to gain more prestige, status, and money, many times at the expense of their fellow human. For example, we have all heard the saying, "It's only business," which means don't take it personally if you are set aside or discarded in order to enhance company profits, as an example. It's an ideology that prioritizes the will of the individual above anyone else. And obviously, this philosophy can be taken to unhealthy extremes, resulting in hedonistic and caustic behavior. If we take a step back, we can see the self-serving principles of Luciferianism and Satanism are all around us, in virtually every aspect of our lives. The image on the right is an excellent depiction of the layers within the pyramid of power. At the very top is Lucifer, and within the capstone are powerful beings and entities who will always remain in the shadows. Below the capstone are the bloodline families going back to the fallen angels who utilized the Committee of 300 to carry out the management and manipulation of the world, and as we can see, the feudal system never went away. 2 recommended books to read to get an understanding of the bloodlines and the Committee of 300 are Fritz Springmeier's Bloodlines of the Illuminati and Dr. John Coleman's book on the Committee of 300. Now I'm going to shift into the numbers and show how numerology, with a focus on 6, 9, 10, 11, and 33, plays a very significant role in the running of our reality. In a footnote from the Memoirs of Billy Shears, it is mentioned on page 119, which is 9/11 backwards, that September 11th is a significant date of war. Here are some quick examples of events which took place on 9/11 in the 20th century. September 11th, 1941, the groundbreaking ceremonies of the Pentagon. September 11th, 1962, per Memoirs, the Illuminati declared war on Christianity. September 11th, 1971, Nikita Khrushchev died a mysterious death while under house arrest. September 11th, 1972, the Munich Olympic Games, 11 Israeli athletes were killed. September 11th, 1973, Chilean President Salvador Allende was killed in a brutal military coup. September 11th, 1991, George H.W. Bush gives his infamous New World Order speech. 11 years later, on September 11th, 2001, we have the 9/11 event in the United States. Another book I recommend to help understand events and dates is The 33 Degrees of Terrorism. I included a link to the book in the description box below. Now let's talk about 9/11 and its occult symbolism and meaning. Before I start, I would like to thank fellow researcher and colleague Richard Balducci for taking me through the occult meaning of 9/11 in a show we did together back in 2019. The link to that show is in the description box below. From page 266 of Richard's book, On Earth as It Is in Heaven, which unfortunately is out of print, when 9/11 is converted to Roman numerals, we see 9 as 1x and 11 as x1. When we put the numbers together, we get 1xx1. The double X is a sigil for Baphomet, which is linked to Satan and Lucifer. The center image shows a scarab beetle. In ancient Egypt, the scarab was a symbol of immortality, resurrection, transformation, protection, and rebirth. And when we draw lines through the beetle's front and middle legs, as I did with the middle image, a double X is formed. And with the far right image, we can see how the double X forms the sigil of Baphomet. Now let's take a look at how the double X aligns with the sigil of Lucifer or the seal of Satan. On the left is the double X image from the prior chart, and to the right is the sigil of Lucifer or the seal of Satan. When we turn the sigil or seal on its side, we can see the double X again. We can also see how Google Play is a variation of the sigil of Lucifer. As the saying goes, signs and symbols rule the world, not words or laws. Another explanation as to why 9/11 is significant in the occult is the theory that it is embedded in the 10 Sephirot of the Kabbalah tree of life. The Sephirot are 10 emanations or illuminations of God's infinite light as it manifests in creation. As revelations of the Creator's will, the Sephirot should not be understood as 10 different gods, but as 10 different channels through which one God reveals his will. In later Jewish literature, the 10 Sephirot refer either to the 10 manifestations of God, the 10 powers or faculties of the soul, or the 10 structural forces of nature. When we turn the Sephirot horizontally, we again see the 1xx1 symbolism. The Kabbalah is very significant in occult mysticism. And whether we are discussing Baphomet or the Kabbalah, the symbolism is similar. It's the concept of as above, so below, and the alchemical process of illumination. Alchemy is a major concept in the occult. The occultist or magician believes that in order to bring about something new, the old must be destroyed. The new paradigm cannot contain any of the old ways. A depiction of this alchemical process is September 11th, 2001. Before I explain the chart, let's quickly run through the numbers. We have already established that 9/11 is a very important date in the occult. As I researched, I found the number 9 is tied to transformation and change. 9 also contains attributes relating to karma, spiritual enlightenment, and spiritual awakening. 9 is also associated with making the world a better place for all to live in. Now, numbers also contain negative attributes, and for 9, this would relate to disconnection, lethargy, and an inability to concentrate and focus. 11 is the master number that is related to karma, and like 9, is also a symbol of spiritual awakening. 11 is also called teacher, which means that it can teach you lessons that are very important for your life. And the number 10 is considered the number of completion. Now, some might be wondering how transformation, karma, and spiritual enlightenment can be linked to evil events. It's important to understand that the use of these numbers and their attributes are coming from the perspective of the controllers. In their world, the direction they are steering the minds and consciousness of the masses is to a place of enlightenment and illumination. In their thinking, a one-world order is a wonderful thing, as they promise no more war, no more poverty, a better environment, etc. To the adept, Baphomet embodies the culmination of the alchemical process, the union of opposing forces to create astral light, or illumination, which is the basis of magic and ultimately enlightenment. Therefore, Baphomet is a symbol of esoteric enlightenment to the controllers. And the alchemical process, in esoteric terms, aims to turn a profane man into an illuminated man. As I stated when I began this presentation, I am not advocating any position, belief system, or ideology. I am simply explaining the thinking and philosophy as I have come to understand it of those creating the world we interact with. Starting with the image on the left, we can see the Twin Towers and how they symbolize the number 11. Then on September 11th, 2001, which reduces to 11 as well when we add 9 plus 1 plus 1, we can see the alchemical process of destroying the old is underway. In the third image, we see Bush with his arm around the first responder who has the numbers 164 on his helmet, which totals to 11. We also see the first responder with his left hand in his pocket, which could possibly symbolize the hidden hand of Freemasonry. The left hand could also symbolize the left-handed path of Luciferianism. With the last image on the right, we have the Freedom Tower, or the One World Tower, which is an obelisk taking us back to the Egyptian mysteries. When we calculate the numerology for One World Tower, we get the number 10, or the number of completion. Now let's look at some phrases we often see and have become familiar with. We can see the word ascension, which has its roots back to Tavistock's human potential movement, which became known as the Aquarian conspiracy, and then segued into the New Age movement, has numerology that calculates to 9. The same with the word woke, which was introduced into the vernacular and quickly became a commonly used catchphrase by many in the truther and spiritual communities. The numerology for Lucifer calculates to the master number 11. The same goes for the word light. And isn't it interesting that Lucifer is the light bearer? So when we combine words and use them within the context of each other, as in I am woke and in the light, or I want to ascend and be in the light, we are verbally invoking 9/11 occultism. And within the context of the controller's spiritual inclinations, being woke and in the light is reverence to Lucifer. I have shown this slide in previous videos, but it's worth showing again to illustrate how coronavirus and COVID-19 are encoded with 9/11. When we enter coronavirus into the numerology calculator, we see it regroups to 11, and COVID-19 calculates to 9. Since we know that 9/11 is used by the occultic elite to bring about transformational change by invoking an alchemical process, in this case, under the guise of a pandemic, we can now see how coronavirus/COVID-19 was an orchestrated and engineered event intended to disrupt the status quo and set the stage for major change across the world. The George Floyd event is also encoded with 9/11. The name George Floyd calculates to 11, and then we were told he had a knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. 8 plus 4 plus 6 equals 18, and 1 plus 8 equals 9. It is interesting to note that the media has now changed the 846 to 746, but whenever these events take place, it is important to note the initial data we are given, which in this case is 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Also, Minneapolis, where the event took place, has a numerology of 10. As I've also covered in a previous video, Black Lives Matter has numerology of 11, and its acronym BLM equals 9. Therefore, the Black Lives Matter narrative is also encoded with 9/11. Another media-hyped phrase is Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone and the acronym CHAZ, C-H-A-Z, both of which have numerology of 11. The take-a-knee ritual became a mainstream meme with football player and Freemason Colin Kaepernick. If we look at the definition of kneeling, it says, be in or assume a position in which the body is supported by a knee or knees, as when praying or showing submission. Kneeling is indeed a sign of submission as well as occult symbolism. This is why subjects kneel or bend a knee before a king or queen. We can see the word kneel has numerology of 20, which reduces to 2, which represents 2 ones, or 11. And as a side note, take a knee reduces to 10, the same as Minneapolis. The image on the right shows the cop taking a knee on George Floyd for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And as we know, the 846 has a numerology of 9. This entire scene is encoded with 9/11 symbolism. We can also see the crooked badge on the cop, which might be indicative of a crooked cop, or perhaps he's not even a real police officer. Hiding clues in plain sight is something that the controllers love to do all the time. And again, we have the left hand in the pocket, same as the firefighter in the George Bush 9/11 photo op, and it's possible he is flashing the Masonic hidden hand symbolism. And because it's the left pocket, it could also be symbolic of the left-handed path of Luciferianism. The number 6 is another very important number in the occult and represents Saturn worship. In a previous video, I discussed how the hexagon, which is a ubiquitous form throughout nature, is actually a cube. The black cube, which we can see in the image on the right, is found across the world and is symbolic of the black sun or Saturn. Going back to the image on the left, we see a NASA image of Saturn, and we are told there is a hexagon formation at the North Pole. Now look at the image I labeled number 1. By drawing lines connecting the corners of the hexagon and creating 6 triangles, we form a cube. At first, it might be difficult to discern, but if you look at the image I labeled number 2 of the dice and overlay that onto the drawing, you should see how a hexagon forms a cube. Thus, NASA is telling us Saturn is the black cube or the black sun. The color black has been associated with Saturn since ancient times and is not merely a feature found in contemporary Western occultism. The association between Saturn and the black sun as an alchemical and occult symbol goes as far back as Vedic scripture. In Saudi Arabia, millions of people make the pilgrimage to the Kaaba, which, as you can see, is a black cube. This trek is called the Hajj, which is an annual Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca, the holiest city for Muslims. The pilgrimage, which lasts 5 to 6 days depending on the lunar Islamic calendar, is a mandatory religious duty for Muslims that must be carried out at least once in their lifetime by all adult Muslims who are physically and financially capable of undertaking the journey. The ritual has Muslims walking around the cube in a circular motion, forming a ring around the Lord of Rings, Saturn. I have also theorized, based on the cosmic egg theory, that the controller's worship of Saturn could possibly be because Saturn was the first sun to emerge from the center of the Earth and bring light to the first physical earthly plane known as Hyperborea. Referencing Martin Kenny's research on the cosmic egg theory, the planets up through Jupiter are not planets, but actually suns and moons which reside within their respective domains which make up the Earth plane. For example, the first domain or ring to emerge was Hyperborea, and within that ring, Saturn is the sun and Jupiter is the moon. The next ring to emerge was the Lemurian domain, where Mars is the sun and Venus is the moon. Our ring is the Atlantean domain, and our sun is Apollo, and our moon is Artemis. This is why NASA named their missions Apollo. It was because they were allegedly exploring space within our domain, which is ruled by our sun, Apollo. Last but not least is Mercury, or the messenger, which at this time is both a sun and a moon. In fact, NASA tells us Mercury has no moons. Mercury occupies the inner domain, which is beyond what we are told is the North Pole. This domain is known as the Aryan Ring. I believe this is why the number 7 is so important in occult studies. It represents the 7 suns and moons of the Earth plane. So I have speculated that because Saturn was the first sun to be birthed by Earth within the cosmic egg, what NASA would call our universe, it is revered by the controllers who are schooled in the ancient mysteries. In any case, whether one subscribes to a geocentric or heliocentric model, the number 6 and Saturn is very important to the occultic elites. For anyone interested in learning more about the cosmic egg theory, please see the link below in the description box. Here are some examples of the number 6 being used within the context of our current events. We are all aware of the defund the police phrase. Well, defund the police has numerology of 6. Social distancing has numerology of 6 as well. Now you know why they insist on 6 feet. It has nothing to do with a virus. It has everything to do with the occult. Now let's talk about the number 10. 10 is considered to be the number of completion. From Wikipedia, 10 represents totality. There are 10 fingers and 10 toes, the total number of digits found on humans, thus our base 10 numerical system. From a biblical perspective, the number 10 is known as the symbol of the authority of God and His government on earth. The number can also symbolize responsibility, law, and completeness. The number 10 can also mean karmic completion and is the number of rebirth. It suggests that the karmic debt has been paid and now the person is free to begin again without the past debt. Back on a previous slide, I explained how the word kneel has numerology of 11 and take a knee has numerology of 10. And again, kneeling is a sign of submission. The image on the right shows a staged photo where Freemasonic police or Freemasons dressed as police are kneeling with masks. They are participating in an occult ritual. Speaking of masks, the phrase wear a mask also scores a 10 in numerology. Masks are commonly worn during rituals across many ancient cultures and religious practices. The World Economic Forum is an internationalist one-world government entity. From their website, we are told the forum engages the foremost political, business, cultural, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industry agendas. The World Economic Forum has an initiative titled the Great Reset. The phrase Great Reset also calculates to 10. What this tells me is the controllers believe they are very close to permanently reshaping the world and thus our reality. Let's take a look at the beginning of a video that the forum posted to their website. As you watch, notice how cleverly they present all the problems the world is facing, chaos they created, and then they segue to scenes where order is restored. It's a slick piece of propaganda in a mere 90 seconds. Let's take a look. There we have it. Problem, reaction, solution in a minute and a half. Well, that's it, my friends. Again, the purpose of this presentation is to share my findings and thoughts. I hope you found it interesting. But before we head out, let's take a look at how the occult number 33 is embedded into our thoughts and reality. The number 33 is a master number that represents the 33 degrees of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, as well as the 33 vertebrae of the human spinal column, and also refers to the 33rd parallel of Mount Hermon, where the fallen angels made their pact. Thanks for listening.
You may know, as of today, and I say as of today at this hour, we have 33 confirmed positive tests for the virus.
Yesterday we had 22 cases. Today we have 33 cases.
We sort through this here in Arkansas. Today we have 33 confirmed positive cases in Arkansas.
As of today, we have 33 confirmed cases with Boston residents. We expect those numbers to climb.
As of this afternoon, we have 33 Pennsylvanians who have tested positive for COVID-19.
So as of this morning, there were 33 cases in North Carolina.
Evening to you. Lots to get to tonight. I'm Leon Hendricks. We want to start with new information into our newsroom. Within the past couple of hours, there are now 33 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Michigan.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Richard Gearhart. Karina Corral has the night off. More cases of the coronavirus were confirmed today in San Luis Obispo County, bringing the total number now to 33.
Right now, Georgia is reporting a total of 99 cases in 19 counties. That is 33 new cases from just yesterday.
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Swenson. More cases and more events affected. Here is the latest coronavirus news. There are now 33 cases in Louisiana.
As expected. The number of cases of COVID-19 jumps. A total of 33 people in our state have been tested and are confirmed to have the coronavirus.
Day 4 of the shelter-at-home order brought 6 new confirmed cases of the coronavirus to San Luis Obispo County, bringing the total number to 33.
Steps as the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Rhode Island jumps by 33 overnight.
33 dead in California warehouse fire. 33 dead in record Sokoto road crashes. Man 33 and woman 21 found dead at property in Paignton. Nearly 33% kidney patients die every year for want of the organ. 33 lives claimed by heart attacks, murder and suicide. At least 41 dead and 33 injured in Iraq suicide bombing. At least 33 dead after bus swerves off Mountain Road in Nepal. 3 dead, 33 wounded in shooting in Chicago. 17 dead, 33 injured after luxury bus crashes into 2 cars. 33 dead in twin bombing in Iraq. 2 killed, 33 injured in bomb attacks in Turkey's Adana. Algeria road accidents. 33 killed, 278 injured in 1 week. 33 dead in landslides and floodings in Nepal. 13 dead, 33 injured in Thai riverboat collision. 33 Afghan civilians shot dead after kidnapped in Gore province. Death toll of Oakland, California fire rises to 33. Potential gas leak reported after US Route 33 crash. 33 homes constructed in just 3 weeks. Rural raiders hit 33 homes in just 14 days in Suffolk. Reports show 33% rise in drinking levels since 1980. Route 33 bridges over Route 22 to be replaced. Cancer cases up 33%. Sally and Bob's owners look back on 33 years. Revenues fall 3.3% on subdued European market. Romania's industry grows by 3.3% in September. 33 dead due to ban on RS-500 and RS-1000. 2 killed, 33 injured by suspected PKK terrorist in Turkey. 10 dead, 33 injured after bus collides with container lorry in India. These 33 hilarious letters to Santa will make your kids seem like angels. Congress predicts 33 out of 70 seats in self-conducted pre-poll survey. Hurricane Matthew's US death toll rises to 33. Hillary Clinton deletes 33,000 emails. 7 dead, 33 injured in weekend violence in Chicago. 4 Afghans killed, 33 others injured in attack in German consulate. Brazil prisons riots leave 33 dead. Kabul suicide attack tolls rise to 33 dead. Families welcome home bodies of 33 Australians who died during Vietnam War. 33 Bangladeshi Haji pilgrims dead in KSA. Flash floods and heavy rains leave 33 dead in northern parts. 33 dead in 1 week of demonstrations. 1 person dead in Route 33 crash. 5 killed, 33 injured in militant shelling on West Aleppo. 1 moderately injured in bus accident. 33 lightly hurt. Gabriel Jesus wants number 33 shirt at Manchester City. Route 33 traffic light concerns. 8 killed, 33 wounded in weekend shootings across Chicago. 33 injured in collision of Long Island Railroad trains. World crude steel production is up 3.3%. And finally, Chinese astronauts describe food and fun on 33-day journey.